everybody, and welcome to one more edition of Latin Manalal Securities LM's weekly wrap, our weekly wrap of all the events that have occurred in the international markets as well as the domestic markets, how the events have played out during the last 1 week, what is expected going forward into the markets during the ensuing week, the following week. And without wasting much time, I think I'll introduce you to Mr. Jash, who is the senior investment analyst at Latin Manalal Securities. He'll be briefing us about the global developments, the domestic developments, which will be followed by a sector-wise roundup from my side. So, Jash, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be back in front of you with the market roundup of last week. As last week we had said that we would remain cautious because we had a holiday on Tuesday, so the market would be range bound. But on Monday we saw a slight up move, and on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we are seeing traction. Why we are seeing traction is because, as we saw last week, the US job data came out, and that was fabulous. About 5.5 lakh jobs were created, which shows no signs of recession over there. Also, after that, this week on Wednesday we saw core inflation data, and that was below expectation. That was from the expectation was 9.1, 9.2%. That was at 8.5%. So we see the commodity inflation cooling off over there, and which was rejoiced by the markets globally as well. In US, Nasdaq especially took a good relief rally. The Nasdaq IT saw a very good rally, and looking at Nifty 50 now, we saw 2% up move from Friday's closing, and that up move is driven by foreign institutions which came back on Wednesday. I think it's too early to say that we see a trend reversal, but it is definitely a relief rally. It is going up. The volumes are there, but we should definitely remain cautious. We should book profits wherever we can, and I think the result would be summed up, and the sector wise would be summed up by Mr. Nirav. I'll hand over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jash. So as rightly pointed out, I think the global cues have been positive. We've seen some positive data coming from the US, and much as they may try to show it or project it as a recession, it doesn't seem to be hinting towards a recession. So automatically there's no need to hike the interest rates in a very, very aggressive fashion. So tech stocks especially have taken heart from this. We've seen a good move in Nasdaq. Of course, the Dow Jones has also moved up during the last 1 week, and we've seen very good moves in the tech stocks also. Domestic markets, we saw a different type of pattern, as we had indicated last week that this rally has been fueled primarily by a couple of sectors. One is auto, and the second is FMCG. Auto, because we all know that July is typically it's a lean month for auto as far as the retail sales are concerned, but now with the festival season starting, I think the prospects look extremely encouraging. We have had a good run as far as the monsoons are concerned.
Also, with the comeback of the monsoon, you can see a good rural demand.
Yes. So good rural demand is also there in the works. So that is going to uplift the FMCG demand also. So all these things we have largely covered during the last 1 week. But this week we saw certain stocks like Tata Chemicals, which was a star performer of this week, very, very strong performance. And we had a couple of sectors which were the winners of this week. One is capital goods, and the second is metals. We've seen some fabulous performance from the capital goods space. We saw some very good results from ABB. We saw some very good commentary coming out from Siemens, from ABB, Asha Brown Boveri, and Cummins. All these companies have guided very well for the future. Apart from this, we at LM also try to identify certain mid-cap stories, emerging stories. One of which was Alicon Engineering, which continues to grow from strength to strength. This stock was identified at 125 levels. Another stock which performed extremely well was Salzer Electronics, which declared its numbers. This company is into industrial switch gears, it's into wires and cables, and the stock hit the 20% upper circuit as soon as the results were announced. So I think there are some niche ideas, some small companies which continue to perform very well. Incidentally, one of our weekender stocks, KSB Pumps, is also the star performer in trade today. We've seen Triveni Turbine perform very well. These are all small niche stories which have been identified by us. One more sector which is on the cusp of a turnaround is hotel industry.
Hotel industry and
Yes.
consumption
So
themes.
consumption theme, which is Jash's one of favorite
Correct.
themes, which he tends to cover. And we've seen that hotel industry has seen a revival of fortunes after having gone through a very turbulent phase.
I think what I would say is revenge demand.
Yes.
The revenge demand is being created.
Yes. So it's a kind of revenge consumption, or some people call it as pent up demand, but I think revenge buying is a more appropriate.
Because I think that's how strong it is right
how
now.
strong it is. So going into the busy Q3 quarter, which is supposed to be the best quarter for the hotel industry, I think it's a good time to have a look at stocks like Mahindra Holidays, Lemon Tree Hotels, Indian Hotels, EIH, East India Hotels,
Yes, Taj GVK, Chalet Hotels.
Yes. So I think all these stocks could shine very well, especially in Q3. So Q3, which is supposed to be a holiday season on account of Diwali, you have Christmas holidays, etc. So
So I think with the Q1 results also being strong,
Yes.
I think Q2 is a lean month, but what we are hearing from the street, even Q2 is supposedly very strong.
Yes,
So
the data-
it might be a surprise quarter for the investors.
Yes, data from the tourism related stocks, tourism related companies is very strong. Data from the hotel industry is very strong, and another sector which is the QSR, quick service restaurants, that is also, we've seen some very good numbers. We've seen very good numbers coming from Westlife Development, which is a franchisee of McDonald's.
For West and South, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And we've seen very good numbers from Devyani International, and of course Jubilant Foodworks, which continues to do well. Zomato is doing well, and a couple of restaurants like Barbecue Nation, specialty restaurants, they are also doing quite well in trade. So I think the whole consumption theme is showing the signs of making a comeback. In fact, yesterday we had results from an amusement park company called Mandala Holidays, and the stock was locked up in 20% circuit.
So all in all, I would say it has been a very good quarter for the consumption story. It is coming back, and the Indian demographics is very attractive, I would say. Favorable.
Very true. And I think as we've seen, rightly seen, that a lot of sectors which were down in the dumps during the pandemic, they've made a comeback. They're back to the pre-COVID levels, and in fact they're bouncing back very strongly. What we have seen in the hotel space, what we have seen in the quick service restaurants, the restaurant industry overall, and yesterday the data which has come out from the amusement park related stocks, etc. So it's giving us a healthy picture. One space which needs to be evaluated is the movie exhibition space. That is the stocks like PVR and Inox Leisure. Because they've been facing multiple headwinds. One is the lack of good quality content which has been missing, plus the Bollywood bashing which has been going on. So a lot of factors impacting them, and for them I think the acid test is going to be the Q3, the performance in the third quarter. So that's supposed to be one of the best quarters for this particular industry also. Finally, coming to three sectors which have performed exceptionally well. One is the paper related stocks. We've seen some exceptional performance from from ITC's paper division, paper and paperboard division,
Yeah.
Century Textiles, whose paper and paperboard division has performed exceptionally well. We've seen stocks like JK Paper move up smartly in trade, West Coast Paper, Tamil Nadu Newsprint, etc. So it's been a dream run for the paper sector, whether it is paper boards, packaging material, copier paper, tissue paper, etc. So a wide variety of applications and a dream run for the paper stocks. We have a couple of other sectors, defense related stocks, which have done exceptionally well. This week we saw very good performance from BEML, Bharat Earth Movers Limited, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Bharat Dynamics Limited, and the shipbuilding companies like Garden Reach Shipbuilders, Muscat Docks, etc. So there the story remains very good. And finally, the railway theme. The railway theme is looking very strong, with the government doing a lot of capex initiatives, and our weekender stock idea, Titagar Wagons, it continues to move from strength to strength. A lot of other ideas to discuss, but time constraints, limitations are there, so we'll revert back to you next week. In the meantime, you can send us your feedback to us, and we'll revert back to you. So I think with that we come to the end of our weekly wrap session. Thank you everyone for a patient hearing.
Thank you.